Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We are discussing Tarleton's master's program in child development and family studies. And I am pleased to be joined today by several faculty representatives of the program. As they're going through their presentation, if you do have questions, we ask that you submit them via the Q&A box or the chat box. We will handle those at the end. For now, though, I will just turn things over to our faculty.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Christina Higgins, and I am the Division Director for Child Development and Family Studies, and also an Associate Professor in the program.
Hello, I'm Dr. Deborah Banker. I'm a full professor in the Division of Child Development and Family Studies. I'm located on the Stephenville campus.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Taylor Cook, and I'm a professional associate professor in the program, and I'm also the graduate advisor. I'm located on the Fort Worth campus. So we'll go ahead and get started on our program admissions requirements. So for our program, our graduate degree has 30 credit hours, which ends up being 10 courses. New students can enroll any semester, fall, spring, or summer. It doesn't matter when you enroll. There's no GRE requirement, and you do have to have a 2.7 or higher GPA for admissions. To apply, you're going to go through the online application. There is an application fee. You'll have to have official transcripts from each of the institutions you've attended and a 600-word purpose statement letting us know what is your purpose for getting this graduate degree. And then the application deadline for the fall is August 1st, for spring is January 1st, and then for summer it's May 1st. Although I know those dates are listed there is a little bit of leeway, but it's really best if you can meet those deadlines so that way you have time to register and be advised before classes begin. So there are two options within our for the graduate degree. You can go for your Master's of Science, the MS in Child Development and Family Studies. And so this is mainly for people who want to work outside of the public school classroom. You're going to take classes that's focused on child development, family studies with emphasis in research, in-depth analysis of theory, advocacy, interpersonal relationships. And that makes sense when you see what our courses are later on in this presentation. Students in this major are definitely going to be prepared for doctoral programs. They're going to be prepared for teaching and higher education, and then also working in higher level positions within the field outside of classrooms, but still working with children and families. There's also the option of getting your Master's of Education in Curriculum Instruction with the CHFS concentration. And so what happens with that one is you take your courses through curriculum instruction, and then you're going to also take some courses. You're going to specialize in courses with us for the CHFS. And so this is more geared toward people who still want to stay within that educational system. And then this degree also can help prepare you for educational higher positions within the educational field. So all of our courses are offered online, and they're only online. And so it doesn't matter where you're located, and it doesn't matter which campus you would call your home campus. Our courses are offered in 8-week and 16-week formats, depending on the semester and the topic. Our content-specific courses are the 8-week ones, and we have courses that are the first 8 weeks and the second 8 weeks of each long semester. So that's in the fall and the spring. And then the 16-week courses are in the fall and the spring. Come summer, all of our courses are 8 weeks. You have to maintain a 3.0 GPA, and I monitor the GPA, your overall GPA, and you'll be contacted at the end of a semester if your GPA has fallen below that. All your coursework has to adhere to the APA formatting, and we give you information on that within the courses, in addition to work is frequently checked through Turnitin for possible plagiarism.
So the specific courses you would take for the Master of Science in Child Development and Family Studies, we have a set of required courses, which are Advanced Human Development, Social and Emotional Development, Family Theory and Research, Interpersonal Relationships, Language and Cognitive Development, Child and Family Advocacy, and Research Methods. And then our students take either Psych 5300, which is statistics, or Education 5398, which is techniques of research. So there are 2 research courses built in, one taught by us and one taught outside of our program. And then if you choose the research concentration, which will be talked about in a little bit, you would do a 6-hour thesis. If you choose the professional concentration, you would complete a capstone course as well as complete an elective. For the Master of Education in Curriculum and Instruction with Child Development and Family Studies, you would take 4 specified education courses: Foundations of Curriculum, Curriculum Design and Implementation, Techniques of Research, and their Education Seminar and Action Research Project course. And for the concentration, you would take 6 classes with us. 2 of these are specified. So we have Advanced Child Development and Family Theories and Research. Everyone would take those 2. And then you can choose 4 of any of the courses we have within our program that are content-based. So social and emotional development, interpersonal relationships, the same ones I mentioned on the slide before. You can select which 4 you would like to take if you're in the Master of Education.
As Dr. Higgins just said, there are 2 concentrations in our degree. One is the research concentration and one is the master's thesis concentration. Now, the thesis is a full-scale research project. You will actually be doing research out in the field. It includes a comprehensive literature review, actually doing the research study, obtaining institutional review board approval, which is also known as IRB. You'll analyze the data and you'll write up the results. Keep in mind that the thesis usually takes a minimum of 2 semesters to complete. Oftentimes it can take 3 or 4, depending on how quick you can collect your research, how long IRB takes, and how long it'll take you to write up this results. While completing the coursework that you're going to do before you get to the thesis, make note of any topics that might interest you that you could do a thesis on. Also, stay in touch with us because we would like to work with you again, and also you will need help getting this process going. You'll need a thesis chair and 2 committee members, so decide who you would like to work with. Of course, you will receive guidance and support in conducting the research and drafting your thesis from your chair and your committee members. Here are some topics that students have done in the past. These 4 in particular: comparing the high cost of quality care to parent perception of care reflected in child care teacher wages. That's a mouthful. Parenting children with autism during the COVID-19 pandemic, parental beliefs towards parenting, and parent involvement in an early childhood setting. Now, the professional concentration is where you will take the capstone course and the comprehensive exams. The capstone is a semester-long project, 16 weeks, where a problem in the field is identified and solutions are researched by you and created by the student. This is similar to a thesis, however, field research itself is not directly conducted. The comprehensive exam is a written final exam for your field. Please note that this is a requirement of the university. We did not make it up. You are provided with questions related to child development and family studies, and responses are thoroughly researched and well articulated by the student over a period of days, and it is done online.
So there's different career advancement options and possibilities when you have your master's degree. And so within the social, community, and medical services, some students have been able to go from being an inspector to being a field supervisor when they're working with child protective services, from a caseworker to a case specialist or program manager when they're doing advocacy and adoption agencies, and then also higher positions within just medical and behavioral fields. Showing that you have that experience and that education can sometimes help make the difference between the different positions you're able to apply for and ultimately qualify for. Within the education field, there's been some students who've gone from classroom teacher or caregiver to administrator, trainer, curriculum specialist, even family advocates, having that additional education and experience. Director administrator, from a director and administrator position to being an area director, for instance, through a corporate child care program. And then also from being a student to being an instructor in higher education, and that is both at the community college level and the university level. And then within the government business sector, there's also higher positions within family advocacy and family support programs, legislative advocacy and policy development. That is definitely a hot topic right now within this field, and I think will be continually changing always. And then family law and juvenile justice. So understanding the aspects of those positions and just having that knowledge and having the degree can help you. So here are some different ways that you can follow us. We have the Tarleton Child and Family Studies on Facebook, the Tarleton State University College of Education, and then the Child and Family Studies Club at Tarleton State itself. So these are just some different ways that you can get to know some of your peers and that you can follow the program. So Dr. Higgins, Dr. Banker, and myself are listed on here. Dr. Higgins, the division director and associate professor. There's her contact information. There's my contact information. Like I said, I'm also the graduate coordinator in addition to teaching some of the courses. And then Dr. Banker, she's also the faculty member. She is our only graduate faculty member on the Stephenville campus, whereas both Dr. Higgins and myself are on the Fort Worth campus. We also have two lecturers, Miss Frett and Miss Simpson. Ms. Frett is on the Waco campus and Ms. Simpson is on the Fort Worth campus. And then for graduate adjunct faculty, we have Dr. Mixon and Dr. Bam. So you'll get to know us because there's really only 5 of us who teach the classes. So you'll get to know your professors.
Thank you so much. It's been such a helpful presentation. To our live audience members, if you have any questions, we invite you to submit them now. You should see the Q&A box that you can use for those questions, or even the chat box. You will get those handled. In the meantime, I did have some questions of my own to ask you. So you mentioned that this is a fully online only program. And I know for many people, they've not had any experience studying a course or even a full program in an online format. Can you talk a little bit about what that looks like and what people could expect from a fully online graduate?
I'll take this one. So because our programs with graduate and undergraduate are 100% online, we try really hard to make sure that we create a community within this online course. We have students interacting with one another and with us. We make ourselves available as needed to students. And we're available on campus, but we're also available by Zoom, by phone, as many ways as possible. That way we want you to feel connected to the program. We also are taking our courses through the Quality Matters for high quality online programs. So we're trying to make sure everything meets the highest standards possible for accommodating students and ensuring that our courses are run in a way that meet, all of not just Tarleton standards, but national standards.
Thank you so much. We've got a viewer who's asking, for those interested in child life, does this particular degree program meet the requirements set by the ACLP, which I'm not familiar with? You know what that acronym stands for, ACLP?
So this is actually a very common question that we get from students. And our courses, the majority of them will fit into what the ACLP requires for child life courses. They require 10 specific classes. And we have some students who are interested in getting the child life certification. So they take our graduate courses, but to meet the majority of the qualifications and the ones that we do not currently offer at the graduate level, they can take at the undergraduate level in addition to the courses in their program. And there's 3 specific courses that at this time we're not offering at the graduate level that would be needed at the undergraduate level. And that would be the child life course itself, the play theory and research course, and I'm drawing a blank. What's it? Oh, the grief, loss, and bereavement course. That's the 3rd one that would be needed at the undergraduate level. And we do offer those regularly within our undergraduate program.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, yes.
Yes,
with
mostly.
the addition of some discipline-specific undergraduate program courses.
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you so much. You mentioned the two different tracks, the research track, which are for people who are wanting to write a master's thesis, and then the professional track. Just curious, what percentage of your students do the research track, and do they need to know when they come into the program what they might specifically want to research, or do you give them some guidance on that?
So I'll take that one. Most of our students do the professional track. We do have some who do the thesis track. Honestly, we've actually just recently, I was talking to some students who aren't sure which one they want to do. And so they're taking this first semester to really get into the course content and get a better understanding and see where that takes them. Because they might have an idea of, oh, I'd want to do this research. I'm interested in this, but they might get the answers that they want from the coursework, or they might say, no, I want to have a deeper understanding and I want to learn more about this topic. And so they then decide to do the thesis track. So we have to put one on their degree plan when I first advise them. We do put one in, but they can switch. They want to be careful if somebody does want to switch, that you switch in enough time that, number one, you can start thinking about your thesis topic, focusing in your different classes to prepare for that. But again, this program can take as long as somebody wants it to take. Some people finish in a year, some people finish in 2 years or 3 years. And so if you're trying to get done quickly, then the professional track is going to be the way to do that, because the thesis can take several semesters. Either one will prepare them if they decide to go later on to a doctorate degree. But we do tell students, if you know that is something that you want to do in your future sooner rather than later in your future, we would suggest the thesis track.
Any advice on how to pick a committee chair or committee members?
So honestly, there's 5 of us. So maybe who did you mesh with first? Maybe we each have our own research interests and topics that we research. And so if something aligns with that, that would be a great way to, to pick your thesis chair. We all work very well together, even our adjuncts. Our adjuncts are serving on committees. So it's kind of, whose research aligns better with yours, who maybe sparked something within you to make you question something. And so you think you might work well with that person. When you are working with your thesis chair, that might either be weekly meetings, weekly check-ins, every other week meetings. It becomes a very personal interaction between you and your thesis chair. And so you want to consider, who do I think I could work well with? Who can I take constructive feedback from and, make a difference in that kind of thing? Because you don't want to take anything personal. So maybe who do you mesh with, I guess, might be the best one. But honestly, we all can do it and we all are very willing to.
Very helpful. Well, are there any success stories that come to mind in terms of how people have used these degree programs to advance themselves in their careers?
I can speak to one whose name is on the screen right now. Miss Simpson was one of our graduate students, and her thesis was the one parenting children during the COVID, with autism during the COVID-19 pandemic. And she worked in behavioral health for several years, and she was able to use the master's degree to advance in behavioral health. So she was able to take on a new position because she obtained the degree. And then when we were searching for an instructor, she applied for the position. So she's sitting right here. So one of our success stories.
Great story. Thank you so much. Well, this has been very helpful, and I thank our faculty for their time today. To our live audience members, I want to remind you that a recording of this presentation will be available to review on demand on the College of Graduate Studies YouTube channel. So please feel free to go back and review it as needed. And then if you know of others who might benefit from this content, we would like for you to share it with them as well. And so with that, I think we can end our webinar, but I thank everyone for your time. I hope that you'll have a great rest of your day. So with that, let's say our goodbyes. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.